ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् नारायणं पद्मभवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपादं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमतास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमतास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोडकं वार्तिककारमन्यानस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं वसिष्ठान्ते वसत्ऋषिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दरूपं स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निचान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवात्मयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमः योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये यस्यैव स्फुरणं सदात्मकमसत्कल्पार्थकं भासते साक्षात् तत्त्वमसीति वेदवचसा यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् यः साक्षात्करणान्न पुनराभवेत् यः साक्षात्करणात् भवेन्न पुनरावृत्तिर्भवाम्भोनिधौ तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नानाचित्रगडोदरस्थितमहादीपप्रभाभास्वरम् ज्ञानं यस्य चक्षुरादिकरणद्वारा बहिस्पन्दते जानामीति तमेव भान्तमनुमादि एतत्समस्तं जगत् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये देहं प्राणवपीन्द्रियानपि चलां बुद्धिं च शून्यं विदुः श्रीबालान्तजडोपमास्त्वहमिति भ्रान्ता वृषंवादिनः मायाशक्तिविलासकल्पितमहाव्यामोहसंहारिणे तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ग्राहुग्रस्तदिवाकरेन्द्रसदृशो मायासमाच्छादनात् सन्मात्तरमणोपसंहरणतः यो भूत्सुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागस्वाप्समिति प्रबोधसमये यः प्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बाल्यादिष्वपि जागृतादिषु तथा सर्वास्वभस्त्वास्वपि व्यावृत्वा स्वनुवर्तमानमहमित्यन्तःस्फुरन्तं सदा स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये. Here in the seventh verse, Sarvasu avastasu api vyavritta anuvartamanam ahamiti antaspurantam sada swa atmanam prakati karoti yo bhajatam putraya bhadraya. Dakshinamoortihi Gurumurtihi saha prakati karoti swa atmanam prakati karoti. In so own self he declares, reveals, to whom yo bhajatam, those people who are the one who is surrendering to him. Bhadraya mutraya prakati karoti, jnana mutraya prakati karoti. By the sign of knowledge he reveals it. What is that? Sarvasu avastasu api aham iti antaspurandam sada tat atmanam spadiyaspu. Tat atmanam prakati karoti. That which is always present in all conditions as the same. Balyadishvapi jagradadishu sarvasu avastasu api. In all conditions, whether you are a child, young man, adult, whether you are awake, dream or asleep. Now, the Purvapakshi had asked that question, Pratyabhijna katam pramanam bhavati. Smaranam pramanam va nava. Smritihi, memory, how is that can be a pramanam? So, it is recalling an experience that had happened in the past. That is called smriti. It is otherwise known as pratyabhijna also, but pratyabhijna has a vaster scope. Taddesha kala akaradi avaduya anushankikan avaduya. In the verse number 4, but that's what we're seeing. When a person sees another person at different time and place, and the same person is seen later on in a different time and place, the time and place, etc., are all incidental. Anushankikan. Tesham avaduya. Leaving aside desha, kala, ityadi. Anushankikan avaduya. Yad ekam vastu. That which is common factor, which is unchanging. Anusyutam. Which is always present without any change. Saha ayam iti. Abhidiyate is known. Abhidiyate. Saha ayam iti. Saha devadattaha eva ayam devadattaha iti. The same person whom I saw some other place, some other time, some other situation is the same person here. In the same way is the individual who had gone through various experiences and the limitations of jiva. Limitations of jiva is alpajnatvam, alpa shariratvam, alpa shaktiman, jivaha. So in the next verse he says, as we read, Mayanushanga sanjata kinjit nyatvadya bohanat sarvajñatvadi vijnanam pratyabhijnanamatmanah. Atmanah pratyabhijnanam sarvajñatvadi vijnanam. Sarvajñatva is being all-knowing. Iti vijnanam, this knowledge, arises Atmanah pratyabhijnanam, that is realization of the Atman. The Atman is who? Atman is that, is Sarvajnaha. Sarvam Janadi. So Sarvajñatvadi, Adi Sarvajñatva, Sarveshwaratva, Sarvantaryamitva, Sarva Vishveshwaratva, Sarva Ishwaratva. The Atman that is in oneself is none other than that which is the entire ruler of the whole universe, all knowing, all pervasive, all powerful. Iti jnanam sambhavati katam apohanat. Apohanam means to remove, to negate, to destroy. Kinchitvadi apohanat. Kinchitva as against sarvajñatva. Kinchitva means little knowledge, limited knowledge. Of what? Aham jivaha kinchijñah. Kinchiteva janami. I know only very little, aham jiva. That jiva, as he or she thinks that I know little, is upadi janidameva. Na atmanaha amsham, atmanaha swarupam. Upadi sahita atma aham kinchityaha jivaha iti manyate. I, the one who is holding on this upadi sambandhat eva kinchityatvadi gunaha. This quality is because of the identification with the upadi. That's why Bhagavan Krishna says in Gita, Purushaha prakritistohi bhunkte prakritijan gunan karanam gunasangosya sadasat yoni janmasu. Purushaha jivaha prakritistaha. Prakritistaha means staying in the prakriti, and prakritijan gunan, and also associating oneself with the qualities of that prakriti. Sambandha, the very association. Karanam gunasangaha. Prakritehe gunasangaha. Saha eva bhokta. Such a person alone becomes a bhokta, experiencer of it. So here the upadi is the one which is making one individual think oneself as kinchijñah. And this upadi is also, or kinchijñatvam also is anushanga. Anushanga means, as we saw, incidental. Maya anusanga sanjata. It is incidentally because of the identification with the upadis, which are none other than created by Maya here. So, therefore, the example that is given as of a person whom I saw before is the same person whom I see now. So also, Ishvaraha eva sarvajñatva sarvashaktiman Ishvara eva ayam jivaha upadi sahita jivaha upadi sambandhat aham kinchityaha iti Ishvara eva jivarupena swayam manyate. The jiva feels that I am limited. It is because of the upadi, and that jiva is Ishvaraha eva. Darshtantikam atma pratyabhijnanam upadayati padartha parishodana dashayam anruda jada parichinna atma tad dharma vilakshanataya अपरिच्छिन्न ज्ञान रूपेण संभावितस्य वाक्यार्थ अवगम समये माया तत्कार्य अध्यास निबंधन किंचित्वादेः अध्यस्य अंश अपोहेन अपोहनात् सर्वज्ञत्वादि विज्ञानम्. माया तत्कार्य अध्यास निबंधन किंचित्वादेः. Kinjitva adehe, of this limitedness, etc., which are all Maya tatkarya. It is due to the Maya and its effect. And what is that? Adhyasaha, superimposition. Sambandadeva adhyasaha, adhyasa eva jnana. Adhyasaha eva avidya. Adhyasa, superimposition. Anything that is what it is not known, when we attribute something else to that object or a thing, that is adhyasa. Yat tat yat asti tat tat rupena jnanam tattva jnanam. Atattva jnanam adhyasa. A superimposed idea and not knowing the correct knowledge of a thing is due to superimposition, that is born out of ajnanam. Ajnanam in the form of avarana and vikshepa. Vikshepa eva adhyasaha. Avaranam tu tamorupam. I don't know is avaranam. I think it is this. This is called vikshepa or adhyasa. So here the meaning here to be understood as, since I do not realize my own nature as Ishvaraha, I come to identify with the upadhis. That identification is the adhyasa. Adhyasa on what? Atman, as what? I am this. So Maya tatkarya adhyasa nibandhana kinchitvadehe adhyastha amsha apohena. Adhyastha amsha apohena. In the case of Devadatta, whom I saw, Desha Kala Parichinna Devadatta sa, Ayam Devadatta, the same Devadatta here in another Desha, Anya Desha, Anya Kala. So Desha and Kala in which I saw, time and space or situation where I saw him before, has changed to today's time, today's space, today's situation. So yat parinada, yat parimanam gacchati, tat, that which is subject to changing, tat na amshaha. It is not necessarily the nature of that object. There is adhyastha amsha only. It is superimposed aspects. So the superimposed adhyastha amsha apohena. Superimposed aspect of what you have seen has been removed. In the same way, jivasya adhyastha amshaha kinchittatvam. Kinchijñatvam is adhyastha amsha. It is sambandhat. It is due to the association with the body, etc. One feels the limitedness, and that is not the nature of oneself. That is only superimposed. That aspect removed, not completely. That is why it is jaha. It is a part of it only should be removed, not completely. In the Tattvamasi Vakya, in that it is discussion is about what aspect have to be removed and what needs to be retained, or otherwise known as Baha Lakshana. Bahatyaga, sorry. Bahatyaga Lakshana. Only a bhaga, a part of it must be removed. What is the part removed? What is changing? What is superimposed? What is impermanence? What is temporary? What is Maya Kritam? That alone is removed, and that which is of its own nature, that needs to be retained. So adhyastha amsha apohena apohanat sarvajñatvadi vijnanam. Sarvajñatva is already there. Tasya vijnanam bhavati. Adi shabdat ananta ananda rupata grihyate. And also not only sarvajñatva, aham anantaha anandaha iti api janati. Aparichinna jnana ananta ananda rupa sakshatkaraha atmanaha pratyabhijnanam iti arthaha. This is the pratyabhijnanam. This is called recognition of the fact of the real nature. Upon removal of the temporary aspects which are created as superimposition due to association with the limitations created by Maya. Now, to establish this pratyabhijna, You can say, of course, the material scientists or materialists or charvakas, they will say, from this, you said balyadishu api, from the birth of the child onwards up to this point, so many things have happened in my life. And perhaps I remember, yes, what I was when I was 3, 4 year old. Probably if I go sit down quietly and keep going back and try to remember where I lived, who were there with me, what house I lived, what are the things I did, what are the friends I had, what toys I played with, you may recollect. Not all of them, but few of them. So I recollect the experiences that I have had in this body, with this mind, in this life. Can that be considered as the eternality or nityatvam of Atma? Nityatvam of Atma or Atma sada asti iti. If you are supposing that the Atman is always there, it must be associated with this body, this mind, this life, this birth. And then also, if that alone is the nature of Atman, then along with the body, mind, etc., when it dies, that also will die. So, to counter that, in daily experiences, what happened yesterday, we do remember today. That means the person who existed yesterday in that Jagrada Avastha, waking time, is the same individuality who is now awake to this day, recollecting what happened yesterday. So also what dream I had, probably vaguely I remember what happened today, yesterday morning, yesterday night, etc. Because it is so close to today. If you ask me, 2023, October 28th, what happened? Recollect, let us see. Remember, October 28, 2023, what were you doing? At 4:50, 4:45 p.m. Swamiji, that time also you were giving the same lecture only. No, but you cannot remember unless you have any very intense experience, something which you made a lot of impression on you, something very bad or something very good, something which is impressive, something which has deeply went into your psyche, you may remember. Otherwise, what breakfast you had? Yesterday breakfast, I don't remember. So, if you have gone for some trip or somewhere, some vacation you went, and that particular day you were in some other country or some other place, and there you had I remember, on that day I was there. However, in this life, what is experienced in this body, in this mind, I probably may remember a lot, but that alone cannot be considered as pratyabhijna. So here, Purvajanma. पूर्वजन्मानुभूतार्थ स्मरणात् मृगशाबकः जननी स्तन्यपानाय स्वयमेव प्रवर्तते. Mriga Shabagaha, a little mriga, little animal, a young infant. Swayameva, by itself, Janani Stanyapanaya, to drink the milk from mother's breast, udder, pravartade. Now tell me, a child, a small little calf, as soon as it is born, it jumps out of the mother, and does not go to Costco for milk. Where does it go? And it doesn't go to another mother, I'm telling you. It won't go anywhere else. It will come to the birth mother and start milking, sucking from the mother's udder itself. It is not taught. How? How is that? How is that the child knows what to do? Human birth, they have to teach everything there. But the child which is born, I mean, that's why he's a mruga he given, not even human child he gives. Human child probably, yes. Mruga shabaka. Mruga shabaka, a young infant one. Swayameva, not guided by anybody, not taught by anyone. Swayameva pravartade janani stanyapanaya. Why it is so? Purva janma anubhuta artha smaranat. Anubhuta artha smaranat. It is born out of the earlier experience. Purva janma of the previous life. Otherwise, how is that possible? Where that knowledge has come from? What to do? And I'm hungry, what to do? That small child is not even able to speak or do anything. And we also see that the animals, their children, they learn the traits of what needs to be done without being taught. Very, very few training period for them. A fish need not be taught how to swim. Is there any swimming pool? When a swimming coach is available for this. Fish swimming pool, swimming coach. It is there already. It is already embedded as a memory. See, even if you say, oh, DNA, Swamiji, the fish DNA has got that information, so the child which is born of that DNA already knows, okay, even that is possible. But I am hungry, where do I need to go for drinking the milk? That is a specialized knowledge. It is not a natural phenomena that is happening. Here it has to go seek for it and do it. How is that possible for that little fellow? So it is not only what had happened yesterday or day before or in this life or in this particular body, even what had happened in the previous life, previous body, we can recollect, we recollect. And some of our experiences, some of our habits are, not some of them, most of our habits are Purva Janma Krita Abhyasa. It is a practice that we have done in the past. So that is valid, huh? Otherwise, when Arjuna asked this question, if a person has practiced meditation, intense yoga and all he has done, study of scriptures he has done a lot of chitta shuddhi and then dies without realizing, what happens? Chalo, start from A for apple, begin again. No, Bhagavan, he says, nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tada gacchati. Kalyana krit, one who has done for oneself, kalyana means one who has done oneself, uplifted oneself. Ye tata, oh my dear one, durgatim na gacchati. He will not proceed in the path, proceed towards anything sinful. It's their continuation from the previous birth. It will be there. He will continue his sadhana where he left behind without being told by anybody. That's why Mahatmas like Ramana Maharshi and such other people, they never went under a guru or studied any scriptures. Where is that information that came to them that they have to sit down and question the nature of the self? Aham कोऽहम् इति ध्यानं कस्मात् सम्भवति, कथं सम्भवति? How is that possible for him to engage into the inquiry of the self without being taught by anybody? So, that is why I said, Purvajanma Anubhudartha Smaranat Mrikashabhakaha. Pratyabhijna yadi Bhranti Bhojanadi Bhrantihi Bhojanadi Katam Bhavet Tatena Parikritahe iti Matva Atmanah Stayitvam Sadayadi Purvajanma iti Mrikashabhakaha Mrikapalakaha Satyojataha Tatkalameva Janani Stanyapanaya Swayameva Yat Pravartate Tat Purvajanma Anubhudartha Smaranadeva Anyata Anudhavanayam Api अनुधावनायमपि प्रवर्तते इत्यर्थः। तदा च बाल्यादिस्त अविरान्तं विपरिणममाने अपि देहे यथा आत्मा न विपरिणममानः भिन्नाः अभिन्नासु अवस्थासु अभिन्नः तदा देवतिर्यं मनुष्यादि क्रमभाव्येन अभाव्य अनेक शरीरेषु जायमानेषु अजायमानः म्रियमानेषु अम्रियमाणः एव आत्मा इति तस्य सिद्धा नित्यता इति अभिप्रायः. Even as the physical body is subject to change, that which does not change is the Atman. If that is also changing, it would not have the information or the memory of what has happened. That even though the physical body is subject to death, that which is not subject to death alone can retain the information about what happened in the previous birth. Mriyamaneshu amriyamana. Parinamamaneshu aparimanamamanah. But subject to change everything. Vinashatsu avinashyantam yapashyati sapashyati. That which is, all that is which is subject to death. Among them, deathless one alone is there. All that is subject to change. Among them, changeless one is always there. That alone retains the information about what happened, even as the physical body changes to one condition to another, one birth to another. There is something which is retaining all that information, required information. That is pratyabhijna. So, Purva Janma Anubhudartha Smaranadeva Anyata Anudhavanayamapi Pravartate. So, running, jumping, etc. also are happening in the case of a Mrigabalakaha without being taught. So, this is to be understood. This is to understand that it is not, Atman is not subject to birth and death along with the body and the mind, etc. It is undying, continuous principle and not shanikam, na shunyam, sada sarvada sthayi. That is, which is constantly present. So, therefore, it is next one. Tasman nischiyade sthayi. Ityatma dehantareshvapi. Sthayiti atma. Tasman nischiyate sthayiti. Atma dehantareshvapi. Smritim vinana gatate. Stanyapanam shishoryataha. Stanyapanam shishoho nagatate. Not possible. The child also, the human child also, for example, knows how to take the milk from the mother's breast without being taught. Who asked you? How do you ask the child to suck? To see, you can make it see there, to hear. But to suck, the child has to know the function of how to do that. So, stanyapanam shishoho na gatate yasmat smritim vina na gatate. Without the prior experience but knowledge, smriti, it is not possible. Tasma, therefore, nischiyate is established. What? Sthayi iti atma. Dehantareshopi. So, and it is said, balyadishvapi vajagradachu tadada sarvasu avastasu api. Sarvasu avastas. In all conditions, dehantara, vaihantareshu api. Given from another life, another body, also it is possible. So that is why in today's world, the technology, medical technology or medical science had proved that when a person is put into the deep state of, what is it called? Hypnosis. The person slips back to the previous life. There are many books have come out of that. Real study has taken place. People who have certain traumas, certain unexplained state of depression caused by no experience of the present body or present life has been detected as caused by the previous life experiences. And they have proved it through hypnotic analysis or hypnosis, that the person, when he or she is put into deep state of hypnosis, they start talking about events that happened in the previous life, and they went and checked up, it was true. So that means what? That one which was there at that time, even in that body, even at that situation, is the same person who is here right now. So there is a continuity across the bodies. So Atman is the one which is present at that point also, at this point also, the same one, which is not incidental, which is the natural swarupa of the self, which is there with a different body, etc. So, what is that, or how do you say that it retains an information? What is that called? What is that retention of information? So, answer to that is given here. Purvatranubhave kale smriti kale paratrasan atma samskara rupena smaratyartam swanishtitam. So, as it is said in the previous verse, smritim vinana gatate. Without the smriti, the memory, not possible even for the child to remember what to do when it is hungry. Now, the Purvapakshi had questioned the nature of this pratyabhijna, what pramanam it is. Is it a pratyaksha pramanam? In the case of a pratyaksha pramana, the direct perception is through the senses. When I see, hear, taste, smell, touch or something, I do come to experience it directly. Directly means what? Without any other factor involved, immediate knowledge is called pratyaksha. When I know it through some other means, it's called paroksha. If somebody tells me about the existence of a thing, which I am not a person who's directly experienced, it's called paroksha. Whereas I directly see myself without any other aid, it is called pratyaksha. Now he asked, is pratyabhijna pratyaksham va? So for which the answer is given indirectly. Because if it is not pratyaksha, even anumana pramana will not be valid. Anumana pramanam is where one is able to connect the cause and effect. Karyam pashyati, one who sees the effect of a thing, karanam anumiyate, anumanyate. Karanam janati karya darshanena. By looking at the karya effect, one can know the karanam. Kasmat karanat karana karya sambandhat. Because one has established already the relationship between the cause and effect. So if I see the whole place is wet outside on the road, I have not seen the rain happening because I was taking rest or I was close to my windows or curtained them. So I did not see, I did not hear, I did not know that it had rained, or it is in the late, it has happened in the midnight. So when I woke up in the morning, I see the wet road. Then I come to know that it has rained. So I have not seen it, but I have established the connection between its being wet is the effect, it might have rained is the cause. Because that, whenever it rains, the road gets wet. That is already established. Meaning, at some point of time, I saw both. Very important point. What did I see? Rain and being wet. Correct? It's an important point because that's going to be brought here. It's raining and it is getting wet. I am seeing both Karya and Karanam at the same time. So then later on I have no doubt about this. Later I have no doubt because I could establish connection. So at some point of time it was pratyaksham. The anumana happened because of purva pratyaksha anubhavat. If I can prove that pratyabhijna is not pratyaksha, then I can prove that it is not anumana also. Because pratyaksham bina anumana pramanam is not possible. So inferential knowledge is not possible if it had not been before a direct experience. If somebody says whenever it rains the road is wet, it is paroksha jnana. That is not a valid means for me. Now, upamana pramana also will fall into the category in the sense that the qualities of a thing is found in qualities of something else, and therefore I am able to do the comparison. Even though what you are talking about is not directly experienced by me, but the qualities of some other thing which you are explaining, I have direct experience of it, and I can superimpose it on something else, which is what you are trying to establish for me. Example, I have not seen a donkey, for example. I have not seen a donkey. Now, you say you have not seen a donkey? No. All right. Imagine a horse. No, not donkey. Pony. I have not seen the pony. Pony is in between donkey and the horse. So pony I have not seen. So you say you have not seen pony? No. Okay. Pony is none other than that which is looking like a horse but behave like a donkey. That is pony. Now, I have not seen pony does not mean I do not know about the pony. Because I have seen donkey and I have seen horse. These two I have seen. So, appears like a horse. Okay, now I can imagine what is that which appears like a horse. Because I have seen pratyaksha. Behave like a donkey, meaning doesn't move on its own. You have to kick 23 times and then he will start. So you keep on kicking and then he will look at you and then as though you don't exist. So it will not move. It will not respond at all. Forget about it. So I can understand what a donkey does. So I can imagine a horse behaving like a donkey. Both are pratyaksha to me. This is Anumana Pramana. So this way, every Pramana has got a pratyaksha. Of course, we are leaving aside Shabda Pramana. It's not right now. So the Purvapakshi may say, what is, he had asked that question, what is this Pratyabhijna? Is it by itself is a Pramana? So the answer to that is, it is a part of a Pratyaksha. Evam cha sati, so in the next, before going to the next verse, Atmanaha stapayita sa stayitva upapada upapadanam upasamharati tasmaditi. Edaduktam bhavati purva anubhuta vishaya samskara vashat anubhuta sajadiya darshane purva anubhuta vishaya swabhavam smaran. Purva anubhuta vishaya samskara vashat. Samskara here to be understood as impression. Purva anubhuta vishaya samskara vashat, due to the impressions caused by the earlier experience, anubhuta sajadiya darshane, when the present one is of the similar kind, Purva anubhuta vishaya swabhavam smaran, remembering the swabhava, the nature of a thing experienced in the past, remembering it, paridrishyamana vishaye api, even as he is seeing the present object, tajjadiyatvena lingena, being of the similar kind, asyapi, of this also, Tadrik swabhavatam kalpayan, of the same nature as being understood or imagined, ubhayavastu anubhava kala apayinam ekam atmanam pratyabhijanadi pumaniti. So, earlier experience has given a certain impressions about an object, and that is over, that's gone. Now the present one, which is having similarity of the previous one, so the quality of that has been included in this, and that way he compares it. In the case of Devadatta also it is the same thing. He has remembered Devadatta among many people and the impression that has been there, and even that this one appears to be different, but he knows that alone is this. Vijadiyatvapi. But sajatiya, which purva anubodha vishaya swabhavam anubhavan paridrishyamana vishaya api tat sajjadiyattvena lingena. The symbol or sign of the previous condition, previous experience is there in this also. In the case of a child taking the mother's milk, the mother who got the milk previously, so this is a previous person, not the same person, right? We had many mothers, and many mothers we have taken many milk. But so, in this child, the birth of this child, the child, he would not, that mother was not here, so how do I drink milk? No, that is not necessary. Sajadiya, similar kind only, not the same person. Now I know how to do. Why? I have done it before, but not the same person. That person is gone. So the deep impression created, that's called samskara. The word is used in this next verse also. That samskara, the deep impression, is what triggers the response now. So this samskara is a part of a pratyaksha. That's why it is given. Evam cha sati pratyabhijna pramanameva sa cha pratyakshe antarbhavati. It is within the fold of pratyaksha. Directly pratyaksha pramana is where the object seen and the experience of that object simultaneously happening. Yeah. Simultaneously it is there. The same object and the experience of the same object. When I'm looking at a flower, the flower I am seeing and the experience of the flower is happening at the same time. Object is also there and the experience of the object is also there at the same time. But in the case of a pratyabhijna, the object is not there, mind you, but the impression of the object is there, which upon looking at this one, you recollect that. Oh, that one. That is what is called pratyabhijna. A part, an amsha of samskara, which is deep-rooted, has established while experiencing the previously, that one is recalled when you experience another object of the similar kind and you recognize it. Now, if you understood that, therefore, it is, even though it doesn't look like pratyaksha, it is a part of the pratyaksha only, and the basic point here is, it is in the form of samskar. So, that's why in this verse, purvatra anubhave kale, smriti kale paratra san. Purvatra at the previously anubhave kale, when it is experienced. Smritihi paratra kale, the remembrance is another time. What is experienced is before, but remembrance happens in another time. So, in that way, the experience of a thing happened previously, and the remembrance taking place later on in another time, there must be something which is common in both the conditions, which had the impression of the past. Therefore, he says, Atma samskara rupena smarati. Swanishtitam artham smarati. Swanishtitam, it is within itself. Atmani eva samskara. In that Atman alone is the samskara, the impression is. And therefore, even as it recollects the previous experience. It is not from somewhere else. It is within itself, which is being remembered. Samskara rupena smarati. So, pratyaksha aspect is there at the time of original experience, and recollection takes place when it is the impression of it recalled. Meaning the person or the thing that recalls was doing the pratyaksha before and pratyabhijna later. Which is to say, in the time of sleep, there is a pratyaksha anubhavam of Ananda. Of Atman. Atman is a pratyaksha, for him it is a pratyaksha anubhava. And that very pratyaksha anubhava, Ananda during the Sushupti Kala, is recalled in the waking time as pratyabhijna. What do you say? I slept well. It is not informed by somebody else. It is not a pratyaksha in the form of seeing it with any of the sensory organs or the mind, etc. Directly it is perceiving. Why? Because swayam jyoti swarupatva swayameva janati indriyam vina, indriyani vina, antakaranam vina. Without any antakarana, because nothing on upasam. That's what earlier words I said. Complete withdrawal. Karana upasam harataha. Yobut sushupta puman. Praga swapstam. Why is he saying I slept well? Prabodha samaye pratyabhigyayate. What remained as common factor at the time of experience of the sleep and at the time of recalling is the samskar, the impressions that is created, which is there present in the Atman itself. That's why it says swanishtitam artham smarati. Okay, now the Purvakshi starts again. Nanubai. Now we call him Nanubai. No. I have a question here. Next to two verses, this is the next three verses, he's questioning it. I don't accept what you're saying. Pratyabhigneti bhavanam smritischedabhidiyate atmastairye pramanatvam smritischa prapnuyat katham. So, he is questioning these terms very carefully. Why then two terms called smriti and pratyabhijna? Smriti reva pratyabhijna, why not you just say that? Why you use the word pratyabhijna here? So, he is asking, smritihi pratyabhijna iti smritihi chet bhavanam smritihi pratyabhijna iti abhidiyate chet bhavanam vishayanam smritihi, remembrance itself is pratyabhijna iti, is itself termed as pratyabhijna, recognition. Iti abhidiyate chet is known or termed as pratyabhijna. Atma prama. So then smritihi atmastairye pramanatvam. Then it is to be understood as smritihi, remembrance alone is the way to establish the presence of Atman. uh, Asmastairya sthirata. Atmanaha sthirata. That is called asmastairye. Sthirata means nityatva. Asmastairye smritihi pramanatvam. Katham prapnuyat. How can remembrance becomes a pramana for the continued existence of Atman? Now, why he is asking this question? Memory can be not always caused by one's own experience only. Many of the things that we have learned from books, by reading, etc., also causes memory. Right? A repetitive thought of something which you have never experienced also can cause memory. A false imagination in dream also can cause memory. If you have dreamt something, can you not think about it and then repeatedly think about it? Some people say that, Swamiji, I dreamt like this and it actually happened. What do you mean by that? Because that person, when he or she dreamt and went on thinking about it again and again and again and again and again, sometimes suddenly it becomes reality. Swamiji, I have been thinking about it so deeply and I really started seeing that. So that means what? It is not born out of pratyaksh. Pratyaksha means it is not a direct experience through the sense organs or the mind or anything. It is a repetitive thought that has happened either by yourself imagining it or somebody had put it in your head. That also can be a possibility. So then, how can you establish the permanency of the self or the nature of the self, which is always there, just because you are got it as a remembrance? It need not have to be a valid means of experience because it can be an imagination. It can be somebody influencing you to think like that, or you repeatedly thought about it. Oh, चलो बाद में देखेंगे. You have to think through this. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.